Our first guest is a young man who is playing a big part in the resurgence of the Notre Dame swimming and diving program. Reid Fujan is a senior captain of the men's squad that is currently ranked 22nd in the CSCAA coaches poll. Reid competes in the fly and freestyle swimming event for the Irish, and this weekend will swim in the final home meet of his collegiate career at the Rolfs Aquatic Center. Out of the pool, Reid is enrolled in the Mendoza College of Business and is majoring in management consulting. We are pleased Reid has been able to make some time to visit with us on this week's Jack Swarbrick Show.
For being with us, really appreciate it. Final home meet. Does it seem possible? Has it flown by?
Oh no, it feels like it was just yesterday that it was my my first meet at Rolf's. It's amazing how fast the 4 years have gone. Honestly, we were just talking about it as a team not too long ago. It feels like it's just been one. I feel like I still could be a freshman.
You have been here through maybe the most significant change, at least in the recent history of the program, with the combination of the men's and the women's team under a single head coach. What's your perspective now, having been in both systems?
I think that the combination of the men's and women's program has been great for everyone. I know the guys especially, and I think hope the girls can say the same thing. But we really love training with the girls and having the coaching staff that the girls had. Coach Mike Litzinger and his coaching staff have done a really good job at really enforcing the mentality of a winning mentality, which has been huge for us and for our success this year.
We had Danielle on the show last semester, and she said that sometimes you guys would race and it'd get a little competitive. She might have said that the girls won a few times. You don't want to talk about it? It's okay.
There are a couple people where the girls will win a race against the guys, but for the most part, the guys usually come out with a W.
Now you're flying free, right? Mainly?
I used to be flying free. Now I'm kind of transitioned more to just the freestyle.
Okay. All right. Sort of a natural competitive transition, or did you prefer the free?
I do prefer the freestyle. So my freshman, sophomore, and junior year, I actually did the butterfly, the IM, which is where you swim all the events in one race, and then I also did some freestyle. And this year, the coaching staff kind of collaborated and thought that it'd be best for me to just stick with the freestyle. And lo and behold, I believe I'm having the best season of my career so far. So I think it's gone really well, and I really like it.
What distances do you swim?
The shorter ones,
okay.
Thankfully. The 50, 100, and 200 freestyle.
And what's the typical training regimen like for you?
So a lot of it has to do with pace work. So we do a lot of threshold work, we have paces that we're supposed to go for our races, and a lot of what we do is trying to hold those pace on pretty little rest, but trying to do it as much as possible with as little rest as possible. So then you can kind of simulate that race experience.
What is your 50-yard time? Just curious.
Okay, my 50-yard time is a 20.18. Yes, why do you ask?
Recently, I've had to swim. My trainers made me do a swim test rather than a run test coming back. I had to do 50 yards and 500 yards, and I can't say that my time compares in any way.
Well, it's interesting. Your time swimming it is the same as my time running it. So we're right in sync there.
There we go.
The rhythm of sort of a season for you guys involves a lot of judgments you make about when to taper and when not to, right? What are the goals? How does that work? What do you personally and as a team, what are the things you're focused on?
Well, from a team perspective, without the coaches, we all try to make sure that once and this is kind of the time around in the season where championship seasons, so the conference meets are kind of taking place. So that's where, as a team, we really try to focus on getting your sleep, eating correctly, staying hydrated, making sure you recover as well as possible. That's what we do from a team standpoint when you're out of the pool, trying to take care of those loose ends. From the coaching standpoint and from the standpoint of being in the pool, taper takes about on the guy side at least, taper is about 3 weeks long, so that involves kind of easier practices, doing a little less yardage, maybe a little more high intensity work. But and then by the time the 3 weeks are up, you're ready to go and race and hopefully throw down some best times.
You've, as reflected by much of what was talked about in the opening, you've always demonstrated a lot of leadership in this program, but now you're the captain. How have you approached that responsibility?
Well, it's a huge compliment. It's really humbling also being able to see the list of people from the previous years who have been captains on the swim team. But I've really tried approaching it the way, just trying to be myself. I like to think that I was voted captain for a reason, and try to stay true to what I usually, maybe my core beliefs and the way I carry myself, and just try to be myself for the most part.
Did you feel any additional pressure coming into that role this year?
A little bit. I feel like when something goes a little haphazardly, people look to me for a reaction, look for some guidance, and that's where I just have to kind of make my best judgment on what to do. And it's also a role where I have learned to become a little more vocal with my stance on the team.
What's it like being a captain to your younger brother too? What's that relationship like? I mean,
he hates it.
I'm sure.
He hates it. It was funny. We were right before it was in the summer, so we were back home. We were getting ready for a swim meet, or it wasn't a swim meet, but there was a practice, and he was like, "Reed, I don't want to go to practice today." And I'm like, "Dan, you have to. I'm your captain." He's like, "Reed, shut up." That's it. But no, yeah, it's fun. I kind of view him as, obviously he's my brother and I love him, but there are times where I just view him as another person on the team, so he doesn't get any special treatment by any means.
No family favoritism.
Nope.
You know, we've talked about the coaching transition and your leadership in this year. What do you see as you're sort of on the back end of it? What do you see for the future of the program?
Well, I think the way that Mike has done a great job with surrounding himself with a great coaching staff, and that coaching staff has done a great job enforcing a winning mentality, which has just trickled down to the team, and everybody just is enjoying. They're winning a lot. We're winning races. We're winning meets, which has just been contagious. It's been fun, and I see that continuing through for years to come. I know the incoming recruiting class is very, very talented, so I don't see anything but green grass from here on out.
Green grass on the blue water, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What's next for you?
To be honest,
we were just
Rachel and I
about
were
this.
just talking about this before we got on here, but I'm still trying to figure it out. I have a couple different things going on. I still got some interviews coming up. I'm still considering going back to school, doing a little more schooling. I've also considered the possibility of maybe starting or becoming a swim coach. That opportunity is starting to become a little more realistic, so I'm considering that for sure. But the easy answer is not quite sure.
Have you given lessons before, swim lessons? Because we do that a lot in softball. Like we coach younger girls. I don't know.
And I haven't actually.
No.
No. So it'd be a new experience for me completely.
Well, if you stop swimming, we'll find out what color your hair really is, right? You know.
Oh, you think it looks bad now? It was worse. It was worse when I was younger.
Training camp?
Oh, training camp, yes. When I was young, though, I didn't wear a cap, so I had that nice tint of green in my hair. Yeah.
It's part of the swimming dynamic. Talked a little bit about your options going forward. Tell us a little bit more about your experience here. What you major in, and where did you live here? What has your non-swimming Notre Dame experience been?
Yeah. So, majoring in management consulting. Believe it or not, as many business majors, I came in pre-med. Freshman year, switched to business and decided with management consulting. I lived in St. Edward's Hall, known as Steads. Really have loved my time here, though. Ever since I was a little kid, I didn't know that swimming was going to really play a role in my time going to college when I was younger, but I had always wanted to go to Notre Dame, and Notre Dame just kind of held a special place for me and my family. And once the opportunity for me to come to Notre Dame became a reality, I was more than grateful and have loved every second of it.
Were you able to participate in any activities outside of your sport? Because I know your guys' schedules are one of the hardest. Being a swimmer, you guys swim twice a day, weightlift in between lunch and dinner.
Except for the no, not really. I've been able to do SAC, Student Athlete Advisory Council, and also Rosenthal. But besides those two, I've been swimming's kept me busy.
Yeah, they whip you guys into shape. Tell us a little bit about your training program that you do over winter break. You guys don't get too much of a break at home. I saw some of the guys, and they were like, yeah, it was a long one. We got 8 days.
Yeah, so actually in my 4 years here, this was our longest time we were able to go back home right after the first semester. We were home for about 8 days, and then what a lot of swim teams do, a lot of colleges, they go down to typically a warm area in the country or sometimes out of the country and spend a week or 2 weeks training down there to kind of mentally refresh, maybe get away from campus and really just kind of knuckle down and get some hard training in. But it's really beneficial for the swimmers physically and mentally, especially when you're used to swimming at 5:30 in the morning when it's 0 degrees outside and it's just cold. And it's nice going down to somewhere like Naples, which is where we were this year.
Not in South Bend. Come on. So Naples this year, where else have you been?
My freshman and sophomore year, we were in San Juan, Puerto Rico, which was a really cool experience.
Not too shabby.
No, yeah, we were really spoiled by being able to go there. But Naples was awesome too, and it was our first time with the girls. We were just a guys team, and we were in Puerto Rico. So being with the girls this year was a blast for everyone.
Well, I can't thank you enough for all the leadership you've provided to this team. I mean, as we talked about, you've been here for a major transition, and that only works when students like you help make it work and help lead us through that. So thanks for all you've done for Notre Dame Swimming, and best of luck in the future.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.
Our pleasure. We'll be back in a minute.
In the locker room, we're not really talking much. We're kind of, visualizing what's going to happen on the ice and staying focused on what's up next.
Open up the door, kind of blinded by the light right away that comes in through the tunnel. It's like kind of just being thrust into the world. It feels like everything's kind of over on top of you.
Playing for my teammates, you'd literally do anything for them. You're a family with them. It's amazing playing with a team like this.